For decades, one rivalry has defined the American truck world: Ford versus Chevy versus Ram. And for a while, it looked like Chevrolet was falling behind. Here's why that's no longer true, and why GM just gave the Silverado 1500 the upgrade it needed to fight for the top spot. The full-size truck segment has always come down to three names: Ford F-150, Ram 1500, and Chevrolet Silverado. The Silverado has stayed near the top of America's sales charts, but plenty of insiders felt it was quietly losing steam against its two biggest rivals. Ford pushed forward with new powertrains, hybrid options, and serious towing numbers. Ram earned real praise for building one of the most comfortable cabins in the segment. And Chevrolet? The Silverado sat right there somewhere in the middle. Dependable, capable, popular, but rarely the truck people got excited about. That's about to change your mind, because what GM just did improves nearly every part of this truck. And together, those changes completely transform how it feels to own one. This isn't about brand loyalty or fleet numbers anymore. GM wants the Silverado to be a true contender again, and people are noticing. The newest lineup brings stronger tech, better refinement, a wider range of engines, and real value. The kind of truck that deserves a second look from anyone ready to default to Ford or Ram. Let's start underneath the truck, because none of the rest matters if the foundation isn't right. Today's truck buyers expect one vehicle to tow, commute, travel, and haul the family, and Chevrolet couldn't ignore that shift. The chassis now delivers a noticeably smoother ride than earlier generations, without giving up the toughness a full-size truck needs. Think about a 10-hour highway haul to a job site or a family trip across state lines. A chassis that soaks up bumps means climbing out of the cab without your back screaming at you, still ready to unload the trailer instead of collapsing on the tailgate. That's a difference buyers feel, not just read about on a spec sheet. Here's where GM surprised a lot of reviewers, though. The interior may end up being the biggest surprise of this whole redesign, and it's not the upgrade people talk about first. The old cabin was its biggest weakness: hard plastics, conservative design, and a hard time justifying the price tag on higher trims. GM took that criticism seriously, and industry watchers now consider the newest interior the single biggest upgrade in the truck's history. Higher trims now get real premium materials, better ergonomics, bigger digital displays, and fit and finish that finally feels competitive. Picture loading the kids in for a weekend camping trip, the dashboard modern and intuitive, the gauge cluster letting you customize what you're looking at, and the touchscreen responding the way your phone does, not the way old truck tech used to. Some still give the edge to Ram's top trims for outright luxury, but Chevy is now firmly part of that conversation instead of standing outside it. But here's what's actually interesting. None of these upgrades alone would beat the F-150 outright. Not the ride, not the cabin, not any single feature on its own. But stack them together, and they completely change how competitive this truck feels. And that shift shows up most clearly in the technology. Truck buyers expect serious driver assistance these days, and GM answered with a full suite of safety features, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, and automatic emergency braking. The feature turning heads, though, is Super Cruise, one of the best hands-free driving systems on the market. Once properly equipped, Silverado drivers can go hands-free across thousands of miles of compatible highways across North America, which means that long haul from Texas to Colorado towing a camper suddenly feels a lot less exhausting. Ford's Blue Cruise is excellent in its own right, but Super Cruise has earned praise for how smooth and confident it feels behind the wheel. So where does all of that leave the engines? Here's where the Silverado's lineup really stands apart. The turbocharged four-cylinder delivers a surprisingly good mix of efficiency and capability. Great for daily drivers and lighter-duty use who still want real towing when they need it. The proven 5.3-liter V8 remains a favorite for buyers who want straightforward power and that classic V8 feel. And for buyers chasing maximum naturally aspirated performance, the 6.2-liter V8 delivers strong acceleration and serious towing numbers, the kind that matters when you're pulling a loaded equipment trailer up a mountain grade and need the power there the moment you ask for it. Compare that to Ford's smaller turbocharged lineup, and the Silverado's naturally aspirated options still win over buyers who want that simple, direct V8 feel under the hood. Then there's the sleeper hit, the 3.0-liter Duramax Turbo-Diesel, blending fuel efficiency, towing strength, low-end torque, and highway comfort in a way that appeals to a huge range of buyers all across the country, not just die-hard diesel fans. For anyone who tows often, hauls a boat to the lake every summer, or covers long distances for work, the Duramax is the engine you forget is working hard because it never feels strained. And what happens when you leave the pavement behind entirely? Off-road trucks have exploded in popularity, and buyers want something that looks adventurous and actually performs once the trail gets rough. GM answered with the Trail Boss and the seriously capable ZR2, built to go head-to-head with the Ford F-150 Tremor and the Ram Rebel. It comes loaded with specialized suspension parts, advanced dampers, off-road hardware, and aggressive styling. Imagine a weekend trip deep into the backcountry, rocky trails, steep climbs, no cell service, and the ZR2 handles it the way a rig twice its price would, then drives you home comfortably on the highway Monday morning. Unlike some extreme off-road trucks that sacrifice comfort, the ZR2 still works as a daily driver, helping Chevrolet win over buyers who want adventure-ready capability without an ultra-expensive specialty truck. Value matters more now than ever, and this might be GM's smartest move of all. Truck prices across the industry have climbed dramatically, and Chevrolet is still keeping strong equipment levels without pushing every trim into premium territory. The lineup spans enough trims that a hardworking contractor and a weekend adventurer can both find a Silverado that fits their life without stretching their wallet. Fleet buyers matter too, and the Silverado keeps earning that trust through GM's massive dealer network and long track record with commercial customers. Meanwhile, Ford keeps pouring resources into electrification and advanced software, and Ram is gearing up for major updates of its own. Against all of that, GM has taken a grounded approach, sharpening the fundamentals buyers actually care about instead of chasing headlines with a flashy concept. When people evaluate a truck, it comes down to one question. Would you recommend this over its closest rivals? For a while, some hesitated to put the Silverado at the top of that list. That conversation looks different now, though not because GM chased one headline-grabbing number. Instead, they focused on eliminating the reasons buyers used to cross the Silverado off their shortlist in the first place. That doesn't mean the Silverado suddenly dominates every category. Ram may still appeal more to buyers chasing outright luxury, and Ford remains incredibly strong on innovation. But GM no longer feels like it's playing catch-up, and it performs impressively across nearly every category that matters, whether that's a Friday night boat launch, a Monday morning job site, or a cross-country road trip with the whole family packed in. GM didn't reinvent the Silverado 1500 overnight. Instead, they methodically fixed its weak points while doubling down on what already worked. The truck war has never really been about who builds the perfect pickup. It's about who builds the truck that fits the most people on the most days for the most reasons. And for the first time in a long while, the Silverado belongs in that conversation without an asterisk.